night, it's a miracle.
Sorry, I forgot to start recording. Y'all have to accept. Yeah, sleep for me, I was probably in my 30, well, no. I was probably in my teens the last time I really slept, really good, like for over 8 hours. But as far as really resting, it's probably been, yeah, since my teenage years since I've really actually took that self-care rest where you just don't worry about anything, you just enjoy the beauty around you and be in the moment that you're in. So I don't think I've done
But
that.
you, Dexter?
I'm kind of confused about sleep versus rest. I'm thinking sleep is rest, but evidently I got something wrong.
Well, sleep
But
is like your 8 hours where you go to bed, and rest is where you actually take time to enjoy instead of just doing anything one day. You just sit and rest and you enjoy the beauty around you and
Meditate.
enjoy just being a vegetable. That's rest.
I've been having sleep issues for a long time. I didn't even know it. Comes to find out I got some kind of sleep apnea thing going on. And when I first addressed the issue back in a long time ago, like 95 or something, I was going to the VA. They gave me these other little things. It wasn't really being like, they didn't really help that much. So I just stopped asking about it and just been dealing with it. And now they got me I'm taking something for sleep aid, melatonin. I think it's something happens naturally, but I'm still having problems. I had problems falling asleep and staying asleep. So I'm still like waking up in the middle of the night. I think that has to do with my sleep apnea because I snore real bad. So sure. Besides being like drunk, passed out, sleep, I don't know when I had any good sleep. And even now, I take the melatonin and I take some Trazodone too. I'm still waking up in the middle of the night several times a night.
Did you sleep well before you were in the military?
I think so.
I'd be willing to bet probably, because I know from the time I was in my teens when I had to, be available, be up, have watches, all that fun stuff. That's from the time I went out on the ocean full time. That's when it ended for me.
I think for me it's like once I got into, because I went from like basic training, AIT, jump school, straight to Central America. They gave me the 30 days to acclimatize, and I went straight to El Salvador where everything changed. We had to stay on high alert all the time, sleep with a pistol under the pillow, off safety, bodyguards, bulletproof cars, and it just on that level of just being, I don't know how to say it, but it's like going 1,000 miles an hour. You're always like on point, ready, on guard.
Either that or you end up dead.
Yeah, and then when I got out of the military, it was like everything was like in slow motion. I had like culture shock when I came back home, but I was like, this ain't the same
Did you
America.
also get diagnosed with the PTSD and everything else?
Well, I didn't get diagnosed with the PA. I had a big incident. I went to the courthouse and did this, that, and the third, and police officers got hurt and messed up. And then, then when I went to the VA, they tried to say, oh, it's schizophrenia, right? So they was treating me for schizophrenia for a long time, and in Augusta. So then here in Atlanta, like this was like back in 95 when I was trying to reaching out for help and stuff. Then in 2014, I went through, instead of going through the VA, went through the DAV. And that they the one that really pushed the issue and they said that got me diagnosed with PTSD, which I didn't even know anything about.
Mhm.
So anyway, it's like if the bucket was just kept getting kicked down the road. And that's
Do
why I'm
you,
at this place where I'm at now.
right, right. Do you know what post-traumatic stress disorder is?
It means
Me,
you handle stress differently.
poster child.
That
You
is
stay
the definition that they give you, that psychiatrists give you. The actual cause of post-traumatic stress disorder is being trapped or caught in the stress that you experienced of the past and unable to escape it. You're unable to release it. You're trapped in fight mode. You're not
Well,
trapped in fight or flight mode. You're trapped in fight mode. You're fighting for survival. You're trapped in that survival mode.
I was
That's
talking
what
to
post-traumatic stress disorder is, and it can be released with breakthroughs. Because
Sign me up.
I've had it and I've released. I had post-traumatic stress syndrome for 25 years, 26 years, probably longer than that. But I was diagnosed 20 something years ago with it, and with the breakthroughs and releasing the things that kept me trapped in that survival mode and that fight mode, I've been able to completely cure post-traumatic stress disorder.
well,
Use your breakthroughs for it. I'll get with you guys and I'll set you up a breakthrough process of how to start releasing it and getting rid of that. And that will help your sleep apnea too, and help you be able to settle so you can rest.
I know my psychiatrist was explaining it to me today, somewhat similar to what you were saying. You said that it goes back to our basic instincts, our reptilian part of the brain, right in the back of your head, and that's the part where our ancestors, when we heard a snap in the wood, we just take off, scatter, just get safe or whatever. And he was saying that part of your brain is activating more than the front part of your brain, which is decision making and analyzing some. And he was saying like it's like the back part of your brain is taking over, and the front part is not doing that much. So
Well, it kept us alive, but it sure keeps us in shit for the rest of our lives if we don't deal with
what
it.
are you talking about?
Mine was 83.
Oh yeah.
I got put in a psych ward in 1983. Then I escaped from it in 86.
I've probably been in a few psych wards myself over the years, and I mean, at the moment they got me out of they medicated me out of the mode I was in, whatever, if it was suicide or self-destruct or destructive other selves, because in that post-traumatic stress syndrome, when you're stuck in that fight mode, sometimes it comes out, like you were saying, Dexter, as aggression toward other people, and there's nothing that you can do about it in those moments. So I'm definitely hearing you and understand. Yes, and understand completely, and it is something that we can dig through with the regression breakthrough and get rid of. We can definitely do that.
The psychiatrist, I took some kind of test analysis last week, and it was they asked like a million, had like 15 pages front and back, had answered these questions, and the doctor finally got with me today to review what it was pointing to, and it was called a personality assessment inventory. And she said that my inventory said that it was pointing highly toward PTSD, and um and that she wanted to know, you know, what was, you have anything traumatic happen? I said, yeah, it started when I was a kid. What happened? Stop, Wallace, stop. So it's true. Started when I was
No.
a kid, right?
I could fill a library.
Oh my God, I know. So that one, it was before the military. When I got into the military, just kind of packed and stacked and made it worse, worse and worse. You know, and then being in those high, intense places, you know, it just made it worse. And then by the
Oh.
time when I got out of the military, I was like, I should have been, they should have prepared me for this some kind of way, deprogramming, or whatever they wanted to call it. But I was just like, they just like released me out in the world. So there you go.
Just release it. Yeah, they do that.
Yeah. So
Well, here's the good news, Dexter. We're in
yeah.
the right group. And the thing is we can take care of this crap that they can't. That's the beauty of it. That's why I'm here. That's why Brenda's here. That's why you're here. That's why the
Right.
three of us are divinely here at the same time. Because I mean, I had file boxes full of the crap they had on me. Just, you know, box after box of stuff. And the thing is this, anybody can be diagnosed schizophrenic. Anybody can be diagnosed with PTSD. All these disease, all these issues that that they have labels for is basically they have to come up with something because they haven't figured out how to deal with it, how to treat it. They had me medicated into a Gumby state of blah. And I finally stopped all my medications right around Y2K. But I mean, if it wasn't for my cousins that came down and threw me in the back of a car and drove me back up to Washington, I just wanted to die. I was down to under 100 pounds. I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't give a shit whether you fed me or not. My pops was feeding me. And I
That
mean,
medication will kill you. That medication will
Oh.
kill you. And they do know. And that's the thing about it. And that's what pissed me off so bad my first Awaken Life Live, when Jonathan started talking about all this and the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors getting all these kickbacks. They do know. They do know the truth of how to help people. And there's been numerous studies done at Harvard and a couple of other big colleges on the levels of just positive thinking and how it shifts brain chemicals. And they do know how to teach people to reverse post-traumatic stress disorder, to reverse depression, to reverse ADHD. But if they give you all the tools to reverse it, how
They
are they
can't
going to
sell you the
make
damn
the
medicine.
triple billions of dollars off the medications, right?
Mhm.
So everybody's getting a kickback, and the pharmaceutical companies are getting rich off of giving us drugs that do nothing for you. They
And that's the
absolutely
same
do
thing with all
nothing
the
for you.
Ritalin and crap they give our
They
kids when they're in
actually,
school.
yes, and they actually shock your brain into not producing the chemicals that they're telling you that this pill is actually supposed to produce. It does not. But you can produce it on your own by just shifting your thought system and shifting the positive. And it takes a few months to do it and to get it practiced and to get your brain retrained, because we've actually trained our brains to produce the negative chemicals with the negative thoughts. So we have to retrain our brain to produce those positive chemicals with the positive thought process. And as we do that, it begins to reproduce the positive chemicals that it's supposed to produce every day anyway, that we've trained it not to produce by being caught in the fight or flight mode from the post-traumatic stress that we dealt with throughout our lifetimes. So being trapped in that survival mode has actually prevented your brain from producing those chemicals. And as I said, it's 100% reversible as we go through breakthroughs, through the regression breakthroughs, and get rid of those belief systems that created the traumatic trauma. Because the situations that we were in were traumatic. I'm not taking that away from us, right? Because they were traumatic situations. But the true trauma lies within the label that we made it mean about ourselves, that we made that trauma mean about ourselves. Even through your military experience, which I have none, I can only imagine what that's like. I have a brother that did 18 years in Afghanistan and over in those areas. So I can only imagine from his stories, but all of that is 100% healable and releasable, right? Because nothing that you did over there meant anything bad about yourself. You did what you had to do to stay safe, to be safe, and to serve your country, what you were meant to be there for. And it none of that meant anything about you. And we can go back and do these breakthroughs and release those beliefs that you made it mean about you. And we can release the post-traumatic stress disorder. We can release the trauma that it created.
And the thing is when we look at, we just did the domestication as a distinction recently. I think you've already done that one, Dexter. And when we look back, I mean, I was trained very well to cause a lot of hurt and pain. And unfortunately, it wasn't just directed at the people it should have been. When I came back, I destroyed 4 marriages. My children suffered. Fortunately, thanks to especially being here, and that's one of the beauties of being here, is we experience love and we begin to wake up to the truths that the program, when I finally realized, oh my God, the more education I got, the deeper the programming. And then I got into a religious education system that threw more programming on top of it. I mean, what other titles? Oh, I'm bipolar, I'm schizophrenic, I'm manic depressive, you know, PTSD, and
Oh, I
they're
have a
all
list of them.
overcomable.
I don't know. There's probably like 20 on the list that they say I had, right?
Oh,
And none of that was true about me. What I had was a fucked up belief system about myself and about the trauma that I experienced.
a question.
That's what I had. Yes.
This happens to me every so often. Every so often, I'll wake up in the morning after a pretty decent night and I will feel so good. It happens. I wish it happened every morning. Most of my mornings, I just have to fight and struggle to get out of the depression. I mean, I'm so deep in a hole that if I don't get up and force myself to get up, if I don't get out and force myself to take a good hot shower and then get out there and walk for a couple of miles, do something, you know, on that first little list we were looking at, and stretch and do all those things, I'll fall into a spiral that just, it's hard to get out of. It's hard to break out of. So I'm looking forward to the breakthrough processes. And
Heck yes.
Dexter, work. We're going to get through this, brother. And there's no coincidence as to why the 3 of us, as I said, are able to share all of this and be here to celebrate the fact that we're getting set free.
Yes.
You're right.
The truth sets you free. For sure. The truth will always set you
Tell you
free
what, it
in
can
love.
hurt like hell for a while.
It
Yeah,
can.
it's kind of
It
scary.
can. It definitely can. So our next type of self-care is emotional. There's stress management, emotional maturity, forgiveness, compassion, and kindness. And what I really wanted to focus on here was this emotional maturity. What do you think that means? What are they referring to here?
I think it's talking about when you're a kid, you mainly just think about yourself. Then as you get older, you start to think about, you know, like others and your family and stuff. But then as you get older, you start thinking about, being concerned for the world. I think that's maybe what it's talking about. I'm not sure.
What do you think, Wallace?
Dexter said it really well. I look at the points that I've been able to grow through from being, like you said, little and me, and then realizing, oh, there are other people other than my dream characters and my imaginary people. There are actually other real people. And then because of all the traumas that we've gone through, it's like coming to the realization that some people out there, about 5% or less, actually are givers, are lovers, are healers. And then the rest of the 95 to 99% are a bunch of sicko takers. And it's this, and we signed up to be here to prove that we can bring love into this world, and we can teach others to love, and we can heal it, because the sicko takers, they are complete, they give a shit about nothing or nobody or anything. It's just, can I get more and get more and get more and get more, and they're never satisfied.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to me, the emotional maturity, what I kind of got the feeling of was responsibility, taking
Mhm.
responsibility for our for our emotions, for our emotional state, and for how we protrude love into this world, and how we include it within ourselves and then protrude it into this world. That's kind of what I got from emotional maturity. When we're mature enough to set with an emotion and weigh it out, is this emotion truth? Is this emotion created by a lie that I'm telling myself? Is this emotion something that I need to set in and examine, or is this emotion something that I need to allow to just pass through me?
Mm.
And I think when we can get to that point to where we can examine each emotion and recognize, like you were doing here a few weeks ago, Dexter, you were writing down what was triggering you when you felt it, what it feeling it created in your body and all of that. And that is developing emotional maturity by recognizing what creates the feeling, what the feeling is, and why you're having it, what you're experiencing it for, and what you're making it mean about yourself.
And then there's another thing that they screwed us with, and that's the food they tell us we need. Everybody needs milk, you know. Oh, you need protein, and it should be beef or chicken or pigs or fish. um I've been getting tremendously better by going against all of that. I don't do dairy anymore. I don't do any animal products. I don't do any kind of creature that lived before. And I used to, hey, give me a gun and I'll and I'll have enough, wild food for a year and a couple of days. And after that's one big change. After I ended up dying, the things that changed, one was my foul vocabulary, and the second, when I'm in a healthy, wonderful state of mind, I don't want to kill anything. It completely changed. I haven't hunted in over 40 years, and have no desire to, other than a couple of times I did think about a few people that looked like they needed to be taken care of. And fortunately, I was able to overcome those
Don't do it.
feelings.
Don't do it.
I love that. I love that. My
Hey,
stepdad in
I was trained to be a
Michigan,
pirate.
right on. My stepdad in Michigan has this saying that just tickles me, and he truly believes there'll be a zombie apocalypse one day, that the government, you do too? Yes. Well,
Oh.
he said that he
There's
has
some
a
ugly
list
out
made
there.
up of people he's gonna kill, whether they're zombies or not, right? So he's already got his list made up of people he's taken out when the zombie apocalypse happens, and it's not gonna matter if they're zombies or not. And that just tickles me, because it's truly possible with all the shit they're releasing on us right now. And it's our own government and the CDC and the WHO and whatever you want to call them. All of these organizations are releasing all these viruses and diseases upon us. And they're doing it for a purpose, and it's for fear, right? And we know that as earthquakers, because we're being taught and we're learning this. And it's in the Bible, it's going to be that,
Ugly.
because it's written that way, and it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be vicious, and it's all a cycle. It's all a game to get us to conform to their truth and to forget our truth, to forget that we are powerful creators and conform to their world order. And and that's just how it is. And it just is what it is. There, we can teach about it and we can inform people about it, but there's nothing we can do to stop it. We can accept it and believe it and not fall for their fear tactics. Go ahead, Dex.
It's so ironic that you mentioned the zombie thing, because I've been saying that for ever since this COVID thing hit, and they came up with this miraculous shot. I said, "Oh no, don't sound too good." Then I found out that that's manipulating your RNA. I said, "Oh hell no, they don't know what they're damn doing. They mess with our genes." And I said, "Okay, they're trying to stop us from dying from this flu, but they keep on changing shit, changing stuff. They're gonna stop people from dying all the way. When they do die, that's when the zombies gonna come in."
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm sorry. They're like, well, even now, I could have this job here at a government job. I am not taking that shot, and they won't allow me to work without taking that shot. So I'm like, well, that's fine. There's plenty
Think
of
of
other
the
jobs.
poor guys that are in the military now that have to take the shot because they want them to take the shot so they can mold them and make them into the sons of bitches they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's some people, they will get upset with you about that shot, about the mask. I'm like,
yeah,
don't take yourself so serious.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're just afraid. They're afraid that everything the government's saying is truth, and they believe it with their whole heart, that the government wouldn't lie to us and put us in danger. And they're stuck in the matrix, in that illusion.
They got the police here on Fort McPherson, and they catch you inside the building without a mask, they'll give you an $80 ticket.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
These
Wow.
people, I'm like, really? You get to protect and serve and to help people. When you're gonna give me a ticket for not wearing a mask, you don't even know where it works, don't work. Because first they were saying wear a mask, then they said don't wear a mask, then they said, well, 2 masks, 3 masks, 4 masks. They don't know. They just
no, they don't know. So the next type of self-care is social, and social self-care is setting boundaries, support systems, positive social media, communication, time together, and asking for help.
Mm.
So we've got our positive support system, and we communicate with each other frequently in meetings, and we do our times together.
right.
And so we've got those down. And how are we doing on positive social media? We've got our Earth Waking Village for our positive good vibes, right?
Right.
So on setting boundaries and asking for help, how are we doing in those levels? Is there an upgrade in those two that we could do? I know for me there is.
Me too, especially the boundary part.
Yeah. Me
Well,
too.
we come from the generation that, in order to be a man, you had to, don't be a sissy. I mean, I remember from my youngest days, or, man up, cowboy up,
Yeah.
take care of it. And I have no problem asking for help these days. My God, I don't know how to use this computer. I don't know barely how to use the phone. I've had to relearn to walk a half a dozen times from being paralyzed. I've had my brain so fried that I thank God that I can still think. But they definitely do not want us thinking. They don't want us doing any of these things that are on these lists. They don't want us connecting. They want to keep us apart. They want to lock us up. It's so we're so I'm just hoping the internet doesn't get shut down and then we can't communicate. I'm just trying to think of how can I get to the Earth Waking Village. I was down in Uruguay prior to COVID, and came back to try and connect with my kids and see the new grandkids that had been born. And it's just been a nightmare for the last 3-4 years. Ended up with a massive heart attack. And here's the good news: between our mind and our body itself, this body was designed to heal. This body was designed to almost be invincible. I mean, I've got the bullet holes, the pierces, the guttings, the broken. I've got 3 caved in craniums. I mean, I've got an axe through it. It heals when you do things right. They just don't want us. I stopped all medications. I don't take aspirin. I don't take any of that crap. If it's not organic and it isn't grown and I don't know the grower, I don't want it.
Oh yeah.
We can get better,
Well,
and that's the
they
beauty of.
just came out and announced here a few months ago that Tylenol, the only painkiller and headache reliever that pregnant women can take, has been causing
Toxic as hell.
autism in our children all these years. And that's
I
the
mean,
only
look at the
medication
massive
they say
rise in
you can
autism.
take pregnant.
They knew what they was doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most
Well, I
definitely.
was in Africa when they released AIDS. I went down to Haiti when it was called Slim disease, and
Mhm.
that wasn't, all these things that I'm afraid of. Some of the they've got shit that is so nasty, so nasty.
Oh,
And it's
they do.
and the thing is, it's like one of these fruit, nutso idiots like Putin or Jing Jang Jun in Korea, or Mullah whoever in Iran, or when they get their hands on that crap and they let it go, Pandora's box isn't closing. It's this COVID was just, can we see if we can get them to do everything we want them to? And they proved to themselves that they can. So what's coming around the corner, I told everybody, this isn't the scary one. It's what they're going to do next.
Yeah, it's what's coming next. So our last type of self-care, talking about what's coming next, is spiritual. Are we taking our spiritual self-care seriously? Because that is the self-care that we really need to be focused on in these times. And that's taking time alone. And that's meditation or yoga, connection, and not just connection with people, but connection with the spirit of truth and the spirit of love. Are you taking time for that quiet time alone to just bask in the glory of the love of your creator? Because it's within us, right? We can bask in that glory of our creator's love any moment at any time that we choose to, just by closing our eyes and taking those few deep breaths and dropping into our heart and focusing on the beauty of creation and the beauty of love that our creator is and that he created us to be. So we can take those spiritual moments and we can do them in nature. If you connect with nature, going outside and taking that walk on your physical self-care, you can also use those moments for spiritual self-care. And journaling is another form of spiritual self-care. You can write how you're feeling down. You can get those thoughts out because believe it or not, journaling and getting it out is one of your best and fastest release systems. And as you're writing in your journal and releasing the feelings and putting them on paper, just be honest when you're in your journal and you're writing. If you're having a shitty day, tell your journal, I'm having a fucking shitty day. I'm pissed off. This is not fair. Life sucks. Why is it this way? And then ask yourself the hard question. What am I making this day mean about me? What am I making these events mean about me? And then write those down in your journal. What are you making it mean about you? I'm having a shitty day, so that must mean I'm a shitty person and I fucking deserve it. But that's not true, right? So when you write that down and you get that out in your journal, you can see all those things that aren't true and you can tell yourself the truth. So journaling is a great form of releasing the lies that we tell ourselves and releasing our feelings about a day or about an event and identifying what we're making those mean about us when we're not in love with those feelings. And then our sacred space. So your sacred space can be whatever you choose it to be. It can be nature, it can be yoga, it can be meditation, it can be in your closet, it can be in your bathroom, it can be in your shower, it can be in your bed at night before you go to sleep, it can be in your bed before your feet ever hit the floor in the morning. Your sacred space is wherever you choose it to be and you feel the most connected with your spirit, with your creator or source or higher power, whatever you call it, him or her. Go ahead,
Can I
guys.
say something?
Yes,
Yeah,
go
this
ahead.
is my sacred space right here. This is the world. This is like from Palm Sunday. I made it into an and this is something from Palm Sunday, the palm branches, and it's my crystals, and this is some feathers. I think this is from the hawk that I've been seeing outside, and little birds be attacking the hawk because it's still trying to steal their babies. But this is my sacred space.
I love that.
So, and I do the spiritual. That's the part where I'm thinking I'm strong is in, because I take time alone. I meditate all the time. I listen to these different mantras and connection. That was my main virtue that I picked out of all 20, and I narrowed down. Connection was the last one I was left with. In nature, I like being in nature. I got a little spot out back. Every time I eat out there, I leave something for the animals, little birds or something, squirrels. I remember one day I was walking on the walk when I was eating some trail mix. I was leaving some trail mix. And later on that day, I saw a squirrel hopping down the trail, eating different parts, skipping some, leaving some, eating some, skipping some. Then I saw the bird come behind the squirrel a little bit later, eating what the squirrel didn't get. So I was like, wow, that's so, yeah. In journaling, I write. So I'm good on the spiritual, but it's these other ones I gotta work on some of those a little bit better.
Well,
That's it. Thank you.
screenshot this screen share. Take you a
Okay,
screenshot of it so you can make you a chart and write these down, and you can, because we're gonna do some upgrading over the next 2 weeks, and we're gonna pick one of these, two of these out of each group that we can upgrade how we are taking care of ourselves, because self-care is one of the greatest self celebrations that we can do.
Got it. Yes.
I don't know how to
Alright.
screen share,
I mean,
so
neither. I just took a picture with my other phone.
I'll send it to you, Wallace, in a picture, and you can I'll send it to you on Messenger in a picture. That way you can check
Awesome.
it out and write it down and get your notes off of it.
Question.
Yes.
Like they've got 2 events taking place tomorrow that I'd like to be in both of them. One of them is the Solutions Mastermind. And then the other one is, I think, the one that Paul was talking about. I can't remember but it's, and I mentioned it to Kirk the other day when we were on the visionary session yesterday. So I'm trying just to be, get through the visionary program as fast as I can and as effectively as I can. And it just continues to be an ongoing battle. I mean, like this weekend, my cousin's throwing up blood. My other cousin, my brother-in-law's just got put in, and they're killing him with chemo and radiation, and then the guys that I'm living with are just crumbling apart. So it's so frustrating that the attacks, every time I try to be like this event, I got a computer and I can't get it to work. And it's a battle, but we need to not give up. The hardest thing is we need to encourage each other. And so I really look forward to getting the message and getting those. Take each and separate each one so that I can blow them up a bit, because they're hard to read, and I'd really appreciate it. And then any way that I can be of help to anybody, please let me know. And if anybody sees, I keep on telling anybody, if you see something in me that I'm not seeing, or hey, you need to, I'm the one thing I am now is definitely willing. And what's frustrating me is, like, I've been trying to get my passport. I finally got the things together today. It was like this morning I was going to get up and work on it, and gung ho, and it took all day to clean up the nightmare. Poor Joe just was sicker than a dog, and then we had to call the carpet guys to have them come in because I scooped it up with like as best I could, but get it before it sets. And it happens every time there's an Awaken Live or a Solutions or one of these events, and just like, okay, I'll get a computer so I can actually see better and read what's happening. And it lets me know that not to give up, not to quit, not to, and just like the chat before this with John, Jaden was there, and I so want to encourage him. If you haven't read the stuff he posted in the Visionaries for his first postings or the videos he made, oh man, we're so blessed to have him on board. And the same thing with Caleb, the same thing with you, Dexter, and you, Brenda, the group of people that are showing up and sticking, because I've watched a lot of them fall. And a lot of them vanish, and then some of them I'm so happy to see that they're talking about coming back after a year or two. Well, there's nothing in the world out there that they're going to find that
Yeah,
doing
most
what we're all
definitely.
doing. And I keep inviting people and getting a little frustrated that they can't see it. They've been too deeply programmed, too deeply domesticated. I mean, they can't break out.
Likewise, I've been inviting people too, and people have signed up, but I haven't seen them participating in anything. So, it is what it is. So people who are ready, they'll come along. If they're
Well, the
not
thing
ready,
is, if they see us grow, as they see the changes in us, that's the one thing that is going to attract others. It's as we live it, as we change, as we grow, as our maturity and our compassion We didn't talk about kindness in one of those. I keep on telling everybody, just be kind, be nice, be loving. Anybody can be nasty. Anybody can be ugly. Anybody can lose control. Being able to, rein it in and realize that was part of the program. They programmed us to be ugly. They programmed us to be nasty. And if you look at the crap they're giving our children nowadays about, oh, you're not a boy, you're a girl in a boy's body. What kind of crap is that in kindergarten? Please,
That's
please.
that bullshit. That's that bullshit, Wally. I seen someone thing the other day. They wanted to do a fingerprint DNA check on the kids at school for like some kind of verification shit. So I'm like, fingerprint was already alarming, but fingerprint DNA? No, that's a little bit too much.
No, they want to exactly know. It's just like, why do you think they have tracking devices on every single piece of equipment that we have? They want to know everything we do, everywhere we are, the places we go, and they have so much information, so many files on us. That's why when I went down to South America from 15, 16, 17, came back 18, 19, I didn't have computers. I didn't have cell phones. There were, and it was a 5-mile walk up a dirt road to the dirt road that went 15 miles into town. And that's where I wanted to be. I did not want to be on the radar. I wanted, it was so relaxing. It was so much better. And I got better. I got healthier. I came back here, and damn if I don't have a massive heart attack. But we can heal even from that. They told me my heart was 60% irreparable after changing my lifestyle. I went in just before Christmas, just before I signed up with Awaken Live Live, because no coincidences. And I have a healthy heart. Now all I need to do is become healthy in all the other ways and reclaim a healthy mind. And we get to help each other do it. I can't wait to give you a hug. I'm a hugger and a kisser. I just got to warn you.
Oh, I'm a hugger too. I love hugs. I am definitely a hugger.
And you
I
can know
was
who the huggers are
reading,
because they hug really well.
heck yes, I was reading that 1-2-second hug a day can change anybody's emotional state. That 1-2-second hug releases all the endorphins you need to produce the positive chemicals in your brain for a whole day. 1-2-second hug.
Yep.
Where did you sign up at?
Right? I know. I may start a new posting in the Tree of Life and just start charging Nature Coin for hugs. Two Nature Coin a hug. I'm gonna give you all the 2-second hugs. Heck yes. No, that's crazy.
So you're gonna give 2 Nature Coins and a hug?
Yeah, no, you're gonna give me 2 Nature Coins and I'm gonna give you a hug. No, you can't get free hugs.
That's a rather ancient profession. You better be careful.
Oh, geez, that's so funny. No, I would never charge anybody for a hug.
Oh man, I had already put my name on the list.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, I'll just give you one free. You can stay on the list and you got a free hug coming.
Yes.
That was one of the good things, at least, about not being raised in the US, being raised in South America, where men still hug each other and still kiss each other on both the cheeks. And, and it's not a sissy hug. I mean, you get a manly hug. I mean, it's not like I'm going to squeeze and break your fingers. No, it's just like, come over here and let's get some love.
Yeah.
And
now they've created the side hug. I totally get turned off by a side hug. If you're gonna side hug me, just don't even hug me at all, right? If you gotta turn sideways to put your arm around me, don't even bother.
Yeah, one arm only. Come on.
Yeah, come on now. What's with that? That's all that sexual harassment and all that stuff that has just took over, and all the programming. You can't touch nobody. It's inappropriate. It's not. But there again, like the pharmaceutical companies know that a 2-second hug produces the chemicals in your brain that creates positive chemicals, which wipes out their depression medication if people just went around hugging each other. So they teach you, oh, sexual harassment, don't touch people, don't invade people's space, don't this, don't that, don't
6 feet
communicate.
apart.
Yeah, 6 feet apart, exactly. How you can't even hug a person anymore, so it's just all
That's
craziness.
another thing. If
And
you look at those blue zones where people live to be centenarians and older, or the communities that are healthy in the world,
hmm
hugging is a very, I mean, you try to go to Italy and not hug people, or you try to go
oh
to,
yeah,
Greece and not hug people, or you try to go to South America. Costa Rica has a blue zone. It has, where I wanted to be in Ecuador, they're 100, 120, 150. But they're these
I
most
guess.
loving, wonderful people that,
Wow.
the sad part is we export our crap into their culture and try to convince them that, you got to be like us. You got to rock and roll dance. And hey, when you get to Costa Rica, get yourself a merengue.
Uh-oh.
That's like merengue. It's a dance that's like, I mean,
Merengue.
you might,
I know about merengue.
oh yeah, you've been,
Merengue
you were
now.
in Salvador. That's like sex on the dance floor.
Heck yes. Well, I'm gonna sign up for one of those when I get there. Uh no, that's
Wallace, do
hilarious.
you want to
That's-
hook up and see what's going on with that computer later, or you're just fed up for the day, or what?
I'm about so tired at the moment. And
Right,
I'm,
right.
I'm gonna go in. And I've got some friends here, and see if I can, get them to help me. I'm meeting one of my best friends tomorrow to help him out, and so I've got some younger kids. But I
That's fine.
totally
I'm just,
appreciate it. If I
I was
can't, we're
just,
definitely gonna sit down. But I can't even get it to work. It's just. But I did charge it up. But it opens up on one page, and then it says no Wi-Fi, no Ethernet, and it won't. I can't get it to do anything else. I'm
yeah,
lost.
but you should still be able to get to the things that are on the computer, like different apps and stuff.
Nothing.
Mm.
So
Weird.
that's the
Right.
hardest part. And I used to
don't-
be good, but the last few times I ended up dead. A lot of my different, it's amazing what you can. I lost all my language skills a couple times, but they're coming back. I lost my electronic techie skills. I used to be sharp on this stuff. I mean, before they had sat nav, when the sat navs came out in what, the mid there were no sat navs other than in the military till about the mid 70s. And when we had to get our training, we had to go to Magnavox. It wasn't like the phones now that tell you everywhere you go and keep track. It was still, I mean, I learned how to navigate with a sextant.
Wow. Oh, hey, I know some. Oh, listen, download this app called Star Tracker, and it is amazing. It is like if you pointed at the sun, it's tell you that's the sun right there, and you go all the way around the whole world, and it shows you everything live about all the planets. Like I always wondered why my mom used to say the Big Dipper is always in the north, because that the North Star is in the north. That's the end of the Big Dipper. But it is amazing. I love it. I'm trying to. I always want to see how the solar system look from the outside, so I can see like how's the moon getting the shadow, and you can actually see that in this thing. And I'm like, man, Star
I'll
Trek.
blow you away with this one. Everybody thinks the sun and the moon and everything goes in circles like this. But see, we're on the end of this thing. So we're actually going like this.
Yeah, because the sun is moving.
It's like a vortex because the whole galaxy's moving. So it's a
Mhm.
circle in motion. So it looks like a sugar
Corkscrew.
cone, like on an ice cream,
Mhm.
more than it does like, a disc or a long
right.
playing record on
Mm.
a turntable. It's just like three dimensionality. I mean, we were taught
Yeah.
that a triangle is 90 degree, 180 degrees, but you can make a 90-degree turn coming down from the north at the equator, go halfway around the world, make a 90-degree turn, and you'll end up where you were. You got a two-sided triangle.
Hmm.
Ah, no. I gotta
Crazy.
think about that for a minute. Okay.
That's great circle navigation. That's why the airplanes, when they want to go like from the East Coast to let's say China, they fly to the North Pole and come down.
Oh shit!
It's closer.
Really?
Yeah.
Versus
Huh.
going. Oh yeah. Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
And it's just like in the you look back at the when we got into the first Gulf War, when they went to bomb, they flew from the bases. They didn't fly east. They flew they refueled over Hawaii, because they took the tankers up from Hawaii. They refueled over Guam, and then they landed in the base there off of India, and then they went and bombed, and then they came back that way. Instead of going, from here east, they went west.
Weird.
And then that was how they maintained a lot of secrecy too.
Oh, yeah, I imagine. Well, guys, we're about 6 minutes over, so I'm gonna shut us down here and tell you guys to have a good evening and see if you can find some places to, Luna, to
Are
upgrade
you
your
in either one
self-care.
of are you in either one of those mind masterminds, the solutions mastermind, or the other one that Paul was talking about putting together that has to do with Earth Waking Village and all of that? See,
I
I have
didn't.
trouble
I didn't
finding
see
these
the one
events.
Paul in the events. I didn't see the one Paul was talking about in the events. Now the solution one is in the events.
Mm-hmm. And I've been watching, because
Well, Paul just got certified, so it may take a week or so to get it into the events tab and where it can be found, but
right. And then I got to talk to somebody about see what I've been. It's been almost 6 months that I've been in the visionary program and haven't quite, I've just started rotating through the ones that I started with, because I started, I think, with J, and we're now on A again. So I've gone all the way through J, and now I'm starting, and I'm still having, every time I make a video or do stuff, it takes a lot of effort. It's not an easy thing. It doesn't, because a lot of resistance, but when I get to do them and don't get interrupted. But every time I try to do a recording, I mean, a jet flight, I'm right in the flight path of the airfield here. So I gotta, it's like.
Funky is the new cool. Just keep going with it.
yeah,
Exactly.
Just keep going with it and put it out there.
exactly.
What I come up with, that's what they get.
Yep.
This
I agree.
is-
And it's better that way.
And
You
then
know,
the
you
naming
can-
system.
Go ahead, Dex.
The naming system will help you keep stuff organized too. Because I was messing around with the naming. I was like, I had to go back and start naming this one week J, this one week K, this one week L. So then when you're looking at it, because like me, I'll get stuck on like, what happened? What's going on? And I had to rename them. I found out week K, I put it in week I or something. I'm like, where's my week K? I know I put it, and I had to redo it again, but resubmitted. It was already done and on YouTube. So I'm still working on that too. And yeah, and this is like my second or third week, so I'm just now getting like kind of into a groove. So I'm
Yeah,
enjoying
if you
it.
get into that groove of just doing it, and whether something gets in the way or not, just do it anyway. Even if you're, running down the hallway, scooping up shit, fucking do your video while you're doing it, and make it about, hey, this is this is what I'm experiencing today, and throw it into your thing. I mean, it just sometimes it is what it is. And as we incorporate it into our life, it becomes more habit. And it becomes more available for us to be able to get it done.
Okay, well, we're not gonna
Right.
hold you up. We're like, yeah, thank you, and
Heck
I know you
yes.
probably
Well,
gotta
you
go.
know, if you guys need any help, you join us on Thursday for the orientation call and we'll do what we can to get you situated and get you back on track. So. And then if you need a breakthrough, always reach out to me and
Definitely.
we'll get together, the three of us, and figure out sometime that we can do some breakthroughs if y'all want and get rid of some of that stuff with the post-traumatic stress disorder and
Absolutely. And all
get
those
some of that
others.
released. Definitely. All right,
We'll
guys.
get to it.
I look forward to it and I love you. I love you. I
Love
love you
y'all
so
too.
much.
I'm blowing you kisses, but I'm in the restroom, so hey.
Hey, that's cool. Thank you. We love you.
Thank you.